For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Miller, Director of Solution Engineering here at Equation. Been here, gosh, next month I think it's going to be 18 years. So very familiar with both the Sage 300 world and now kind of long time in the Sage Intacct world. So what I'll be going through is a nice little introduction, high-level overview of Intacct, and then I'm going to jump right into a demo on the some of the AI tools and machine learning tools that are embedded in the application. As Doug mentioned, a lot of these, they're essentially in beta mode development. They go first into Intacct, then they roll out to these additional products, Sage 300 included. So a lot of this may be coming down the pipeline for you all. All right. So what do we get with Sage Intacct? Well, this is an entirely different application, right? So this is a pure SaaS-based system, browser agnostic, right? Chrome, Edge, Safari, you can use any of these, fully mobile capable, right? You can do approvals, workflow, you can access the full site on a phone if needs be. We get 4 quarterly releases with Sage Intacct, right? So these are automatic updates. You come in Monday morning to the office, these are immediately applied as of Friday night, the prior Friday night, and these are chock full of new functionality. Could be new vertical solutions or enhancements, right? Again, fully new functionality. It generally takes me, I want to say, 2 hours-ish to read through the full release notes of each of these quarterly releases. So, this is one of the benefits you're getting with a pure SaaS-based system, right? Open API platform, right? So full scalability, right? Ease of integrations, customizations, enhancements, right? The ability to do things like page scripts, right? And embed JavaScript within your application directly. And low code to no code, and rules and triggers and things like that as well. Intercompany, some of the highlights, I'll touch on them, some of the items we have on the slide here, some of the highlights that generally takes a little work in Sage 300, automatic consolidations. In Intacct, we have a concept of top level and entity level, right? These entities being what you know as your individual login, log out databases in Sage 300. Well, in Intacct, they're all in a single login, but they are still independent entities that automatically roll up to what we consider the top level, right? How does this work? Well, oftentimes this works with a shared chart of accounts, shared set of vendors, shared set of customers, right? Now that's not always the case, and we don't have to operate or establish the kind of implementation that way. But generally, I'd say 90% of the time, this is how that's, we establish all of these master records at the top level, immediately become available to all entities, right? Picture some of our clients that have 100, 20, any large number of entities or databases, right? You got to log in 300 in and out each time to add a new GL account. Well, in Sage Intacct, you simply add a new GL account at the top level, right? So things like that. Automatic inter-entity, right? So the ability to transact in and out of these entities, have the system create these do to, do froms, right? This is automated in Intacct. Automated workflows, AP approvals, PO approvals, general ledger approvals, right, with backup. So things like this, again, are native capability and functionality. One other thing to highlight too, Sage Intacct is a multi-ledger system. So multi-ledger meaning we can carry an accrual book, we can carry a cash book, we can carry a PO commitments book. We can have as many user-defined books on top of those, and it's kind of a book stacking mechanism, right? So that we can peel in and out these additional books on top of our standard accrual book, if it is, or standard cash book. So that's a really, sort of unique function within Intacct that you don't see in a lot of ERP systems. Dashboards, KPIs, metrics, AP automation, which I'm going to show you. So a lot of this functionality is just embedded in the system, and these are just some of the highlights. But I do like to kind of speak to those, big points there briefly. We have also developed a utility to do the migration from Sage 300 to Sage Intacct. So as I mentioned, totally different applications, right? So there is no communication between the two. So what we have done, since we've done many of these transitions now, we have built a utility that allows us to extract all of your general ledger history or a subset of your general ledger history, open payables, open receivables, customers, vendors, budgets as well. So we can extract all of this data. It basically, our utility goes through a mapping, then formats this data into a importable format for Sage Intacct. So it really makes that transition very smooth and easy, and allows us to actually carry across as much data as you'd like. All right, with that, I'm going to jump right into the demo. This is my standard dashboard, okay? So what I'm seeing right now is my standard dashboard, and what I'm gonna do is kind of just walk through some quick highlights on the AI and machine learning that's embedded in the system. So what do we have? Well, we have quite a few tools that utilize AI in here, right? And some are additions, some are native functionality. So some are add-ons, right? Part of the subscription, some are native functionality as part of the core. So, one I like to always highlight here is our search help, right? So search help with Copilot. So I'm going to click into my search help. Now, this is really unique in that we can essentially use natural language queries to, assist us with something in the system, right? So I can come in here and type, how do I reverse an AP bill? Or check, maybe check's a better one, right? So I can ask a natural question, right? I don't need to go hunt and peck through my my help guides or my help documentation. The system is going to use AI here and basically come up with a walkthrough and answer to my question, right? Well, here's what I do. Step one, right? Void the original payment. Maybe I want to reverse the associated bill, right? And then I can look at some relevant links if I need to, right? Now I can even get more complex with this, right? I can take this further. So that answer my question here, but maybe I continue the conversation and say, hey, I actually need to go back and credit the purchase order, right? That this AP bill was established on. Or maybe I say something like, help me write a smart rule that requires customer tax ID. Now, smart rules are validation tools in the system. They don't require code. They just require you to go in platform services and as an admin and sort of establish a validation rule. So now I've asked the system here, how do I write a smart rule to require the customer's tax ID, right? Well, I can go to the object or vendor in this case, and essentially it's basically giving me the properties for the condition, right? So I'm going to essentially give my properties, I'm going to come in there and there's my condition. It's actually assisting me with requiring, it looks like I might have mistyped my question there, but same idea, requiring a tax ID. So, that's a more complex question, right? Generally in the system, this takes some learning curve to learn how to build these smart rules and validation. Well, I can utilize my Copilot help here to really assist with that, again, without having to go hunt and peck through these documentation guides and things like that. All right, the next one I want to touch on, Doug mentioned, in 300, this is coming down the pipeline for you all as well. Sage, AP automation, right? AP and AR automation. So very quickly, I'm going to just jump over to my accounts payable here. Now, it's worth noting this also works at the purchasing level. So the same logic I'm going to show you works at the purchase order side. However, it takes that a step further and it does three-way match, right? It's going to check your PO, going to check a receipt and ensure that all the data on the invoice matches those within a certain threshold. So you can set threshold metrics to give it a little leeway if you need to. So within my AP bill listing here, I've got a little upload button. So this is our AP automation in a nutshell. Now, this is I don't want to say the old-fashioned way to do it, but this is where I've got a PDF or a Word bill or an Excel or an image, right? You can see the file types there, and I'm just going to drag them on, and I can drag up to 30 at a time here, right? With this AP automation, we also get issued a client email, client XYZ at intacct.com, something similar, like, or it's the other way around actually, intacct at client.com. The vendors can simply email their bills directly to that, and they will automatically go through all the logic here that I'm going to show you. So note that this is, as I mentioned, and right now I'm going to drag my PDF. This is my AP bill. I'm just going to drag one in here and go ahead and create bill. So what it is now doing, the system is utilizing AI and machine learning to look at that bill. It's going to use OCR, right? And then OCR with AI to say, okay, here are all the fields I'm reading. I'm going to analyze this particular bill. You can see what it's doing right there. It's analyzing this bill. It's going to look at all the fields, going to try to extract the vendor, the dollar amount, the date, the coding, the line item coding, right? And it is also going to use machine learning. So generally what we see is we want about, a couple months of data where it starts to get smarter and smarter and learn from the coding. But what it'll do is start to analyze that bill and then post a draft bill that I can go edit, I can review, and then post. And as I mentioned, same exact logic applies if a vendor emails directly to this, Intacct at client.com, right? So it kind of takes the middleman out. I don't have to drag and drop files over. The system's going to feed those right in draft mode. Remember, it's not going to post it, so I still have a chance to review it, and it will add the attachment. So note that it will add the attachments. And I'll go ahead and refresh, and what it did is it came in here and said, hey, there's an error, or an exception, I should say, not an error. And it's basically going to say, this is a duplicate, because I've done this many times, right? And there's the bill that it did attach. So it's automatically going to add the attachment. It's going to say, hey, here's a duplicate. However, it did populate all the data correctly, okay? All right, the next one I want to show you here is our Copilot Close Assistant. So you can see I've got a little Copilot button up here, right? This is where we're going to have things like Copilot Close Assistant. We're going to have GL variance analysis. There are many other functions coming down the pipeline, right, that are in development or even beta right now. So we're gonna see lots of new material in here. Agentic AI is coming down the pipes, right? So we're getting into this really kind of relevant, useful information with the utilization of AI. So I'm going to go ahead and run my Close Assistant. Now I've got about 10 entities, I want to say, in this particular instance. I'm going to go ahead and run this just for January of 2020 across all entities. Now what it's doing is using AI and it's using machine learning to go ahead and say, okay, well, here are some relevant functions that I may need to use with my close or do with my close. Now I can quickly view a close book overview, and here are my entities. I can see if AP is closed, right? There's one where AP is closed and AR is closed. The cash management is not, GL is not, right? If I minimize this, GL will be the next column over. Now I can do something else. I can come in, review unposted entries. I can go to the close. Maybe I want to do, here's our reconciliation assistant at play, okay? So now I'm going to go and I'm going to go ahead and select all entities, apply that filter, and now what happens is Copilot is now going through and running a variance analysis between our AP subledger and our general ledger AP balance, okay, across all entities. So what happens if I close this down and I'll refresh here, what happens is it's going to go ahead and give me a consensus report that says, hey, I'll use my historical one here and hit my insight. So what it'll do is pop up an insight and it'll say AP subledger reconciliation is ready, okay? And it can actually show me that there is a variance. And all of a sudden I see, aha, in this entity, I actually have a GL AP variance. So these are just some of the examples. There's GL outlier detection for journal entries. There are bank rec. There's a lot of AI and machine learning for automatic bank recs and things like that. So again, if you're interested in this, please reach out. With that, I'm going to stop the demo and flip back to these slides. Okay, so some resources. There's our blog and some, as Doug mentioned, quite a bit of YouTube videos out there. If you have any questions, again, or interested in more information, there are resources there for you. And again, with that, I appreciate everybody's time. Again, my name's Brian Miller. There's my contact info. If anybody has, again, additional questions, please feel free to reach out. And I will give just a second if Effie, there are any questions.
So far we have, how much time will AI help with my monthly close?
Great question. So we're seeing, again, the system needs a little bit of time to learn. So but we are seeing, 20 to even 50% improvement, even in the initial months, and that's only going to get better. So, picture that reduction in close time down from 5 days to 2 days, right? That's the kind of improvement we're starting to see with these tools. Great question.